Steve Smith here. Greetings, everyone. This is an extraordinary circumstance that we're all living through. Hopefully you're able to shelter with loved ones, and hopefully you'll be able to spend time practicing the drum set. For me, I've been spending a couple of hours every afternoon digging into fundamentals, reviewing much of what I've actually taught in my Hudson music DVDs. I've been going back to basics, practicing very slowly, very quietly, in addition to getting amped up and playing aggressively. But I'm spending a lot of time taking my time, playing slowly, making sure I have a very nice sound coming out of the drums, a beautiful tone coming out of the cymbals, and that I'm breathing and just relaxing and playing quite slowly and quietly. And I believe that's going to increase my range of dynamics. It's also going to help increase my range of tempo, so I'll be able to play even slower than I've been playing as of late. So with no gig on the near horizon, sometimes I find that very difficult to get motivated to practice. Most of my practice time seems to be taken up with preparation for some gig that I have coming up. So right now, without any gig in the foreseeable future, I'm digging into fundamentals and reviewing much of what I have documented in my Hudson Music DVDs. I've been very fortunate to be working with Hudson Music, and from the very get-go, from the early years of the company establishing itself, I made a DVD called Drum Set Technique, History of the USB. And this was filmed at a time when I had spent quite a few years studying with Freddie Gruber, and I really get into the details of the drum set technique that I learned from Freddie: foot technique, hand technique.
We're going to look at the hand technique, one hand at a time, starting with the left hand. It's much easier to see some of these principles with the left hand because it's so open. So the first step is to just seat the stick in the main fulcrum, the main grip between the thumb and the hand, like this. And the next step is to find the point where the stick bounces the freest. So by dropping the stick on the drum and letting it rebound, we can find this balance point. So right about here is where it feels the loosest to me, where the stick is freely coming off of the head. So this is where I'm going to use just enough pressure to hold the stick into place. I don't want to hold it too tight or too loose. I don't want to drop the stick, but don't want to hold it with any more pressure than what I need. So if we go to the right hand, I use this to find the balance point, the fulcrum between the middle finger and the thumb, holding the stick like this. So we do the same process, just nice and relaxed, bring the hand up, lay the stick in the hand, and it's clearly the stick is an extension of the arm. You can really see this very clearly in the right hand. It is in the left hand as well, but it's much more graphic in the right hand. And then find that balance point back here. Move it up a little. And finally, right about here, the stick bounces the freest. Now if we do that with both hands and compare them, interestingly, they end up in the same spot.
And all related to the swing pulse, because in Freddie's teaching style, he didn't take technique separate from, the technique didn't really live separate from the pulse, from musicality and musicianship. So this DVD is full of ideas that you can work on to develop your swing pulse and to develop technique to hopefully play in such a way that the playing flows and is quite effortless. Now, why the swing pulse? Because that is the pulse that all U.S. music developed from, and is in addition to the 2-hour DVD about drum set technique. There's also a 2-hour DVD called History of the USB.
Early New Orleans jazz was popular from the early 1900s till about the 1930s. Was played with a strong 2-beat swing or 4/4 swing. The drummers generally played time on the snare drum, sometimes the woodblock or the rims. And by this time, the drum set had grown a bit and consisted of not only the bass drum and the snare drum, cowbell, woodblock, occasionally a small tom was added, as well as small cymbals and the china cymbal.
And that shines a light on the development of music in the 20th century and drumming in the 20th century, and how that swing pulse evolved from early New Orleans playing to country, to rhythm and blues, rock and roll. And it's a very interesting overview that helps you see how did we get to this point where we are today in drumming. And the value of digging into that history is that if you embrace the ideas and work on some of the concepts, it can give depth to your playing and give understanding to why it is that you're playing what you play. As a follow-up to that DVD, we made a DVD called Drum Legacy: Standing on the Shoulders of Giants.
Tony Williams match grip, and he would just alternate between the traditional grip and the match grip often. And I've developed that habit myself, really inspired by him, to go for what that feels like. It's a different feeling in the hand. The stick feels different, and the attitude, the approach to the drums feel different. So To describe it, I'm just simply going from traditional grip, turning the stick over, and gripping it more with the fingers, the last two fingers, and not moving back on the stick at all, just keeping it in that same position as when I'm playing with the traditional grip, the same balance point and fulcrum position here, and just flipping it over.
And that is a study getting into examining the drumming ideas and concepts of some of my favorite drummers, some of my heroes that I spent countless hours listening to and emulating. I'm talking about Buddy Rich, Max Roach, Art Blakey, Elvin Jones, Tony Williams, Philly Joe Jones, Joe Dukes, and others. And I'm assisted in this by the great John Riley, fantastic musician, drummer, and teacher. And we get into a lot of details of examining these great players, and I do a lot of demonstration. I have a group. We play some of the music associated with those drummers in this DVD. Shortly after that, Adam Nussbaum and myself co-produced a DVD with Hudson Music called The Art of Playing with Brushes. And this is a deep study of playing with brushes. Adam had the idea to film these drummers playing along with pre-recorded tracks at various tempos, so we could really compare and contrast how the different drummers played time with brushes, soloed with brushes. And the 7 drummers involved, Adam and myself, plus Joe Morello, Charli Persip, Eddie Locke, Billy Hart, and Ben Riley.
I just try to follow what's happening, what the music is, and just this sort of back and forth sound keeps it kind of full rather than just doing this. Or so the combination, regular cymbal rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, triplet feel. It's not 1, 2, 1. It's not that, or it's not 1. It's just, and try to get it flowing in the.
Whenever I play with the brush, I try to incorporate the sound of the swish in some manner, you know. But now getting back to like what the first thing that I did was I'll do it really slow because I like to use the entire surface of the instrument, and by it being round, so you say like you start here and say. So you get that swish. So now you have what I call a zit, which gives the accent of where the beat is. So you can hear that. I say like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
How exactly are you getting that sound out?
Well, it's just it's called a zit.
you show us what you did before? So
Well,
what you did
yeah,
with the
I
situation?
always think when I'm playing brushes, I think sticks too. you know.
Okay. Okay.
I think that first, and,
Right.
and then the rest of it.
So you're very often playing like the cymbal rhythm
Yeah,
with the
but
right hand?
Right hand, you know, yeah, sometimes I switch things for the left where I can play the sop.
Right.
And then when you played the second feel that you got into is when then the left hand I was hearing playing all 4 beats to the bar. You're making a move. Could you show us that move with the left hand? And then the right hand, what's the moves that you're making with the right hand? Yeah.
Each drummer gets about 1 hour to play and to describe what it is that they're doing. So it's a 7-hour long video that comes with a play along, comes with all the same tracks that you can practice to, and a booklet about the history of brushes. Lately I've been re-examining and digging into my newest Hudson product, which is called Pathways of Motion. It's a DVD, it's a 2-hour DVD with the book that supports that DVD, and it's about match grip. It's about 4 different versions of match grip.
In my approach to match grip, I have 4 distinct positions that I hold the stick, all under the heading match grip. And for simplicity, I'm going to call them grip number 1, grip 2, grip 3, and grip 4. And grip number 1 is a fundamental German grip. The palm is down, the hand is over the stick, and I find the balance point for where to hold the stick by just bouncing the stick with one hand like this and holding the stick between the middle finger and the thumb. So here's grip number 2. And we start with grip number 1 and just open the hands up. So the stick now falls down, so it's held by the first joint of all 4 fingers in the thumb. And we have a resonating chamber in the hand. So the difference between grip number 1 and 2 is basically that. The hand goes from a more closed position to now a more open position. And this is going to help you access the fingers and start to develop a little bit more finesse with that grip. This is grip number 3. And grip 3 is the French grip, where the thumbs are up, the fingers are still holding the sticks in this first crease, and you're just keeping your shoulders down. You may need to make a small adjustment with the elbows with this grip in order to get the sticks to be very comfortable in your hands. But this grip is now a lighter grip than that overhand grip. We're actually getting into an area where this grip can start to feel somewhat like the traditional grip, where the hand is under the stick. The French grip,
will give you some of those subtleties of the lightness, and you'll have even more access to the fingers. This is grip number 4. I personally call this the Tony Williams match grip because this is the way Tony used to hold the sticks when he played match grip. So we start with that French grip, but now we move the stick into the cradle of just right up into the hand with the little finger and the ring finger. So we're really just holding the stick with the back 2 fingers of the hand. The front of the hand is very loose, open, and relaxed. Now the main qualities of this grip is you can get a very big, powerful sound with a minimum of effort. When I started really trying to develop my match grip about 8 years ago, I realized that I was using 4 different distinct grips. And I discovered that by having my right hand teach my left hand. My right hand had played a lot of jazz time over the air on the ride cymbal, and as a result of that, picked up a lot of different grip nuances. And so I use mirror imaging where I'd have my right hand play a pattern and I'd mirror image that with my left hand. And I realized that I use 4 distinct grips. Grip number 1, like so, palms down. Grip number 2, with the holding the stick more towards the tips of the fingers and having an open hand, a resonating chamber, having more use of the fingers in the opening and closing of the hand. Grip number 3 in the French grip style with the thumbs up. And grip number 4 I call the Tony Williams grip, holding the stick mainly with the little finger and the ring finger and having a wide range of motion, making it easy to get a big sound. And so each grip has its own function, and I use each grip according to the sound and feel that I want. So I'll go many times from 4, 3, 2 to 1, or mix and match, non-symmetrical match grip. And I notice a lot of people play non-symmetrical match grip, but they may not be conscious of it. And I've spent time with each grip, and I'm encouraging you to spend time with each grip. So when you do play non-symmetrical grip, it's a choice, and you're making that choice for a musical reason. Traditional grip is a non-symmetrical grip, and so you can play the drums in a way with match grip that gives you a lot of choices if you develop that awareness. So take your time, practice slowly, breathe, relax, and take your time and use this opportunity to develop your abilities, some new abilities, hopefully that will take your drumming to the next level once we get back to playing music again and we can all become working musicians once again. Stay healthy and take care. See you down the road in the near future.